This podcast is a production of Queens Public Television in New York City. Visit us on the web at qptv.org.
In 1957, Viking Press published On the Road, written by famed poet and author Jack Kerouac, a work widely considered to be one of the great American novels. While recognized the world over and acknowledged as a seminal classic of the Beat Generation literary movement, few know that Kerouac wrote much of his sprawling on the road from the interiors of two humble apartments, both located in none other than Queens, New York. I'm Mark Bacino, and welcome to Queens County, USA, presenting diverse stories from the most diverse place on earth. Nicknamed the Wizard of Ozone Park by friend and celebrated beat poet Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac had little known but deep connections to Queens County, having lived for the most part in both of the aforementioned Ozone Park and Richmond Hill sections of the borough between 1943 and 1957. Considered by many to be his most prolific period, Kerouac wrote a number of notable works either in part or in whole during his tenure in Queens. In addition to On the Road, Jack also penned the titles Visions of Cody, The Town and the City, Maggie Cassidy, and The Subterraneans, to name but a few. A native of Lowell, Massachusetts, Kerouac's Queens connection begins with his parents. In the early 1940s, Leo and Gabrielle Kerouac left Massachusetts in search of employment and a better life in New York City. The couple made a home for themselves by taking an apartment over a pharmacy storefront on Cross Bay Boulevard. Sometime later, young Jack, fresh from a stint in the Navy, surprising given the counterculture leanings of his later writings, joined his parents to live with them in their newly adopted city. It's here Kerouac essentially begins his professional literary career in earnest, with late-night and often marathon writing sessions. The Ozone Park apartment also becomes the launchpad for many of Kerouac's manic, substance-fueled cross-country road trips with friend Neal Cassady that serve as inspiration for the fictionalized adventures chronicled in On the Road. By many accounts, Kerouac takes to his new outer borough surroundings and when not cloistered away writing could be seen taking walks through the working-class neighborhood and frequenting the pub across the street from the family home. According to Ginsberg, Kerouac even oddly worked as a soda jerk / counterman for a time in the drugstore located beneath the Kerouac's apartment. In 1950, 4 years after his father's passing, Kerouac and his mother decamp from their Ozone Park home and along with Jack's second wife, Joan Haverty, take up residence in another apartment, this time in the nearby neighborhood of Richmond Hill. According to Haverty, here Jack continues to write and can be found exploring his new surroundings, taking conversation-filled walks with a visiting Ginsberg, drinking beer with the locals at McNulty's Tavern, and joining in on pickup games with Neal Cassady at the Smoky Oval Park basketball courts, now known as Phil Rizzuto Park, named in tribute to the Yankee baseball legend and Richmond Hill native. With the publication and success of On the Road in 1957, Kerouac, restless and disillusioned by the attention his growing celebrity brings, leaves Richmond Hill and Queens behind for good, seeking solitude and anonymity in the quiet town of Northport, Long Island. Nearly 52 years after his passing, Jack Kerouac's legacy as a literary giant continues to endure. And although the memories and ghosts of Kerouac's time in the city's largest borough may be receding into the distant past, like headlights in the rearview, the genesis and origins of Kerouac's greatest works remain undeniable. All roads lead to Queens.
The executive producer for Queens County, USA is Daniel J. Leone. This podcast was produced, written, narrated, recorded, and mixed by Mark Bacino for QPTV. I'm your announcer, John Collins. To learn more about Queens Public Television and our podcasts, visit our website, qptv.org, or follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook at facebook.com/Queens Public Television, and on Twitter and Instagram, we're at QPTV.